This story right here might be the fastest karma story in the history of husband snatching allegations. Hi my loves, welcome back to the channel. I am your media chick, and if it's trending, you will definitely find it here on this page. Today, we are talking about one of Nollywood's most controversial love triangles. Stella Damasus, Daniel Ademinokan, and Doris Simeon. Before the controversy, Stella Damasus was a beloved Nollywood actress, but her life took a heartbreaking turn in 2004 when her husband, Jaiye Aboderin, died suddenly of a heart attack. Stella Damasus married Jaiye in 1999 at the young age of 21. At the time, she was an up-and-coming Nollywood actress, while Jaiye was a respected entertainment entrepreneur, businessman, and music promoter. Despite their young ages, their union was passionate, supportive, and by all accounts, deeply loving. They had 2 daughters together, and Stella often described Jaiye as not just her husband, but her rock, someone who believed in her talent and pushed her to grow both personally and professionally. Jaiye Aboderin wasn't just any businessman. He was also from a wealthy and influential family, and he had big plans for Nigeria's entertainment industry. With him by her side, Stella felt stable, confident, and protected. Their home life was mostly private, but those close to them described a marriage filled with laughter, ambition, and faith. Jaiye was known for being a family man, deeply involved in his daughters' lives, and very supportive of Stella's career, even when fame began to knock on their door more loudly. But on December 3rd, 2004, tragedy struck. Jaiye collapsed during a basketball game with friends and died of a sudden heart attack at just 33 years old. Stella was left widowed at 26 with 2 very young daughters to raise on her own. The loss sent shockwaves through Nollywood and the Nigerian public. No one saw it coming. It devastated Stella to her core. She disappeared from the spotlight for a while, unable to process the scale of her grief. In interviews years later, she would describe Jaiye as the love of her life and speak openly about how his death shattered her world. Stella has often said that no relationship after Jaiye ever matched the safety and unconditional love she experienced with him. Even in 2020, nearly 2 decades later, she paid tribute to him, calling him the best thing that ever happened to her and thanking him for teaching her what real love felt like. The tragedy shaped her life moving forward. It influenced her choices, her emotional resilience, and her approach to love and marriage. Stella remarried for the second time to Emeka Nzeribe, and the marriage lasted just 7 months before ending in 2007. She later revealed she was mentally abused by the man. Meanwhile, Daniel Ademinokan, a film director and producer, was married to actress Doris Simeon. They had a son together and even worked on multiple movie projects side by side. But around 2010 to 2011, cracks appeared. The couple divorced under very hush-hush circumstances. At the time, the public didn't know what caused the split until new photos and rumors started popping up. The story of Doris and Daniel's breakup is one of the most painful and controversial in Nollywood history. Doris and Daniel were once a power couple in the film industry. They had their son named David. However, their relationship started to fall apart around 2010 and 2011. They separated. The real shock came when Daniel allegedly told Doris he was taking their son to visit his mother but never returned. Instead, he left Nigeria entirely, relocated to the United States with David, and not long after, with actress Stella Damasus. Doris was blindsided. She tried to reach out but was either ignored or told that Daniel was too busy. What followed was an emotional and legal nightmare for Doris, who fought tirelessly in US courts for years, hoping to regain custody or at least regular access to her son. Unfortunately, the court granted Daniel full custody, citing stability and schooling in America as key factors. Doris was only allowed to see her son during holiday visits. For Doris, the real heartbreak wasn't just the divorce, it was being robbed of the chance to raise her son. In her words, Daniel did not allow her to mother her son, a wound that remains with her even as she tries to move on. The public outcry that followed the whole incident was loud and emotional, especially when it became clear that Daniel's new partner, Stella Damasus, was seemingly living a happy family life in the US with a child Doris once held close. To many, this wasn't just a case of a broken marriage, it was a betrayal that cut deeper than most. Shortly after Daniel's divorce in 2011, he and Stella Damasus began appearing everywhere together, and not just in Nigeria, they relocated to the US together. What shocked people even more, Daniel reportedly took his son, the child he had with Doris, with him and Stella. Nigerians erupted. Was Stella really a widow rebuilding her life, or did she just snatch her colleague's husband and child? Well, Daniel and Stella officially married in a private ceremony in 2017, though they had been in a relationship and living together since around 2011 to 2012. They each celebrated anniversaries publicly in May as far back as 2018, and Daniel's loving Valentine's Day post in 2017 confirmed their status as husband and wife. The media went wild. Many labeled her as a husband snatcher, but Stella fired back, saying she was no husband snatcher. In 2016, she said, "I have kept mum on the allegation until now, and I feel it's time to express myself." One of the comments I've seen consistently over and over again is, "Stella snatches somebody's husband. Stella the husband snatcher," which is what has been going on. I had sworn that I would never talk about it or even listen or stress myself about the issue, but I have decided to talk about it now so that I end it once and for all. She said, "How is it possible to go to somebody's home, take a happily married man, take his son away from his home and say, 'Follow me'? Let's assume you are a man, and according to their story, he is happily married inside his home with his family complete, and I walk into that home to forcefully take a man, able-bodied man, and a kid away from somebody's hand, and you are there looking at me." So logically, if people actually sit down and think about it intelligently, how do you snatch somebody from somebody and the person is there looking at you? So when you see a man who has settled ties with the woman and decides to move on with his life, and you feel that there is something in this man that you like and he likes you, is there a problem there? "I am not a kid. I am 38 years old. I'm not about to start hiding myself," she said. Now, despite the noise, Stella and Daniel got married. They lived together in the US for years, even doing media and production work together. For a while, it all looked like the two had beaten the odds. But in 2020, boom, Stella confirmed they had split. They had broken up. No details, no drama, just silence. According to her, she found the whole thing online. Stella first learned of the breakup in a surprising public way. Daniel had gone on a trip and was expected back, but instead, Stella began receiving frantic messages and calls asking if she was okay, along with video notifications about her marriage crashing on YouTube. Curious and alarmed, she searched her name on the platform and found multiple videos discussing their split and suggesting karma had struck. Still in shock, Stella reached out to Daniel. In their conversation, he calmly informed her that he wasn't coming home. That phone call was the first time she heard directly from him that their marriage was over. Stella later reflected that despite the love and friendship they once shared, calling him her soulmate and her best friend, they eventually discovered deep incompatibilities. She explained their union was partly rushed, influenced by church environment where he was a choir director and she a chorister. That pressure to set an example led them to marry before fully knowing each other, and ultimately they realized they were not compatible. In her candid comment, Stella urged women to watch out for red flags in relationships. She warned against jumping into marriage under pressure, saying, "I thought this person was my soulmate. When you see red flags, don't ignore it." However, Daniel reportedly remarried in the US soon afterward, and that's where karma kicked in. The very love Stella once defended vanished quickly, leaving many wondering, did what she helped happen to Doris finally happen to her? When the news broke, the internet didn't hold back. People called it karma. Some people said, "You reap what you sow. God of Doris never sleeps." Well, Stella's image took another hit, especially when people started revisiting her past relationships and controversies. However, Daniel has publicly rebuked Stella Damasus' claim that she discovered their divorce online, branding it false and calling her a liar. Taken to his Instagram page, Daniel shared a screenshot of an email Stella sent to him on July 20th, 2021, requesting an address to which the divorce papers should be sent. revealing that she was well aware of legal proceedings and not blindsided by YouTube rumors. He emphasized that he separated from her to protect his peace of mind and their son's safety, alleging instances of physical abuse towards the child during their marriage, so severe that his son had to use makeup to hide injuries at school. Daniel expressed disdain at Stella dragging him into a public soap opera and made it clear that he would ignore everything except blatant falsehoods. You guys, so after all the love, the betrayal, the accusations and the heartbreak, what are we really left with? A woman who lost her husband in the most tragic way, only to be accused of taking someone else's man. A man who left one woman and their child, only to later accuse his third wife of lies and worse. And a son caught in the middle of drama that spanned continents and years. Was Stella really a victim of love gone wrong, or was she the architect of her own downfall? Did Daniel truly escape a toxic marriage, or is he rewriting the story to protect his image? And most importantly, if the woman you once called your soulmate could be reduced to a liar and an abuser, then what was the truth all along? Who is the victim in the story, you guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to also subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in my next one.